April 30th, 7 years ago, I quit my job as a detective. I was working 60-hour weeks on average, on call, very demanding career. Like I put in multiple 20, 24-hour shifts when we had really big things going on. But I ended up quitting my job to start my Amazon business. And usually around this time of year, for some reason, and maybe it's just subconsciously, I'm like, hey, I know this is coming up. And I start to reflect on the whole journey that I've gone through. Just puts me in the space where I'm just really grateful for so much. Like I've been one to, I have a hard time with gratitude just because I'm always on the go and I'm always like, I got to get this done. I got to get that done. I got to make sure that this is taken care of, that I often forget to slow down. I really appreciate the path so far and the journey and the progress that I've made. Like I said, it's really hard for me to zoom out and see the progress that has been made from when I first started. And I get so caught up on just what is going on right now. What are we doing right now? But around this time of year, I like to take a step back and really just reflect on everything. Guys, I was scared shitless when I quit my job, even up until that last day. I remember when I picked up the microphone on my last shift. It was 3 a.m. because like the last 3 weeks I got put back on nights because we lost a guy or something, or somebody was off on training. So they put me back on nights for my detective position. And I was cool with it because I'm like, I already knew I was going to quit, right? So I'm like, better for me. I'm like, I'm going to put in my 2 weeks. I don't have to see anybody in the office. I can just be on patrol. No big deal. And honestly, patrol, that's just what I liked. And I was on my favorite shift, right? So I loved swing shift. But I remember my last shift, I picked up the microphone to say that I was 1010. And damn, dude, like I cried. Like it was such a hard moment for me because it became such almost like that was my identity. Like being, like I worked so hard to be in law enforcement. I worked so hard to get in detectives and do all of these things. And it's like, all right, well now we're going to take a risk and we're going to go try this whole fucking Amazon thing and hopefully it works out. It was a hard drive home, but even leading up to that, I was having all these conversations with myself of like, dude, like, are we really about to quit our fucking job? Like, are we really about to do this? And because I know myself so well and I feel like I'm pretty self-aware, I was like, if I don't do this, I'm going to regret it so much down the road. But I know that if I back myself into a corner, I will figure it out. Because I always figure it out. That's what I always tell myself. I was like, I always figure it out. No matter what is going on, I will find a way. So I quit. And although I tell you all of that, how hard it was for me to quit, there was a couple of like pivotal moments when I decided I'm done. Like I need to go figure something out. And I remembered about one of those moments this last week when my kids were on spring break. So my kids got on spring break and dude, like I'm so fortunate and grateful that I'm like, we can just pick up and go. Like, hey, you're on spring break, you're off for a week, let's go do shit. We went to a Kings game. We went to, we rented out this Airbnb right by the beach with a private beach. We did a whole bunch of cool shit. I didn't have to ask for a day off. It was literally on a whim, went, booked everything, and then we just went and did stuff, right? While we were at the Airbnb, I remembered about this situation with one of my sergeants at the time. And guys, keep in mind, like at the time in my career, up until this point where this situation happened, I don't even think I asked for a single day off. Like I had years and years of stacked up days off because I was never requesting anything, but I needed some time off, right? And I had a few years on already and I put in for it 6 months in advance. I did it so soon because I know it's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass to get your time off. People give you shit. They say you're lazy or you don't want to work or whatever. And I kept reminding my sergeant. I reminded him like, I don't even know how many times. I'm like, hey, I need those days off. I need those days off. Have you taken a look? It's always like, oh yeah, I'm going to take a look. I'm going to take a look. We fast forward 6 months and I'm 1 week away from the time that I needed off. And we're both working. It's night shift and he's like parked somewhere and he's like, hey, come meet me here, whatever. So then I go over there and he's like, hey, I saw you put in for that time off. And I was like, are you serious? Like, dude, I don't even know how many times I've told you about this time. He's like, you know what? You're really lucky that I'm giving you this time off. And I just stared at him. I literally didn't say anything. I was like speechless. And I just stared at him. I said, yeah, I put in for that 6 months ago. He's like, yeah, you're really lucky I'm giving you this time off. So enjoy yourself. And that bothered me so much that this other man had this kind of power of when I can take time off and when I can. I get it, it's a job. But just the way that he said it, man, it was like burned into my mind. And that was such a big catalyst for me to be like, I will never allow another man to have that kind of control over me, to be able to tell me when I can come and go. Because for me, I've always been super independent and I've always liked to figure shit out. And I don't like that, right? Like, I don't like that. Even though we all understand the power dynamics in the workplace, the chain of command, sergeants, lieutenants, all that stuff. Just the way that was said was like, nope, I got to figure something out. I got to start something new. I got to figure something out. It's not like I went and figured it out the next day, but that was a massive catalyst for me leaving my job. Another catalyst, and this one was from a friend, probably my best friend there. And this really like put things into perspective of like I'm going to waste so much time in my life. I'm going to miss so much. Probably end up getting divorced. Who fucking knows? Like, just because I'm working so much just to get this. It was my last week. Everybody already knew I was leaving. And one of my buddies, he's like, hey, let's meet up real quick before the start of our shift. So we meet up somewhere. And he's like, dude, are you sure you want to leave? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure. He's like, are you sure? He's like, dude, you have some balls. Like, I would never do that. I was like, all right, like, whatever. And he's like, dude, once you're here as long as this guy, he's like, just stick it out until you're here as long as this guy. Dude, you're going to get 2 extra days off a month. Like, it was this big flex. Like, oh my God, he's been here for 20 years. He gets this extra 2 days off a month. And I was like, that makes it even worse. That I would have to spend 20 more years here just to get an extra 2 days off a month. And I told him, I was like, if I make this work, I can have as much time off as I want. And guys, like, I tell you these stories, some of you guys are going to relate and some of you guys are going to be like, oh, that's just jobs, that's just work. But you have to understand that when you're trying to pursue something, it's not always going to be about, let me make this vision. Let me create this vision board. Let me have all these warm and fuzzy feelings about how I'm going to get there and what I'm going to do to achieve these goals. A lot of times, guys, and the more I reflect on it, the more that I realize, like, for me personally, it's almost 90% this way that I'm going to describe to you. The deeper I look, the more that I realize, honestly, it's just pain. It's the pain of the current situation that creates this catalyst of, I need some change. So it's not always about, let me create this vision. Let me like really manifest this. Let me like think of my dream life. It's more of a, I fucking hate where I am and I need to do something about it. And for me, that's usually when I will reach this point of a paradigm shift. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing. A lot of people are missing, like, just having the ability to dig deep into what is bothering me so much about this situation right now. What do I actually want? And if I don't go and pursue that, I'm going to be stuck in this painful situation for the rest of my life. When I quit my job, there were so many people that came up to me and said, man, I wish I could do what you're doing. I wish I could just quit my job, but I'm stuck. I have 10 years left. I was like, fucking, you got 10 years left? You don't even know if you're going to make it by tomorrow. Like, people act like they have unlimited amount of time to go and pursue these things. Like, this is why it bothers me so much when people are like, oh, I'm just going to wait till Monday. I'm going to wait until after the vacation. I'm going to wait until this and until that. Guys, you don't even know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. So if you're not completely stoked about the decisions and the accomplishments that you've made in your life up until this point, start doing shit. Start taking action. Because if not, you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road and you're going to be like, how the fuck did I get here? How am I still here? How did I not take that risk already? How did I not just try? People are so scared to even try, which blows my mind. It's like, what are you so fucking scared of? Like, honestly, if you sit back and think about it, what are you so scared of? Worst case scenario. What's worst case scenario? You try out this business, it doesn't work out. You literally just keep doing what you're doing right now. Like, literally nothing changes. Maybe you lost a little bit of money that you can make up, but at least you know that you gave it an honest try. And in my experience, usually what ends up happening is the people that just take no for an answer, like they just don't take no for an answer and they just go all in on what they're trying to do, it usually works out. It doesn't work out right away, Maybe it'll work out in a couple of months, maybe in a couple of years. But the people that just don't take no for an answer usually figure it out. And it's because they made this commitment with themselves that I just don't like where I'm currently at. And I need to change it. And I need to do something else. Because if I stay right here, I'm going to go fucking crazy. Guys, I worked with so many people that you could just tell were fucking miserable. It didn't matter what they got. It didn't matter if they got promoted. It didn't matter if they got a pay bump. It didn't matter if they got a special assignment. It didn't matter what was going on because they were just fucking miserable. They didn't want to be there anymore. But because they stayed there and they never tried to do anything else, they were full of regret. They ended up getting jaded with the department, or something here or something there happened, but they never reflected on what is this current pain that I have? Where do I want to go? And then really dug deep into that pain. Because for me, that's usually the catalyst. And I know I tell you guys vision is really important and stuff like that, and it is, and I've done that. But the more that I like reflect on myself and I just become more self-aware, it's usually the pain of my current situation that leads me to make some massive changes. I mean, and that's with everything. That's like across the board. Like when I first joined the police academy, guys, I was a fucking loser. Like I was so insecure. I had no confidence. Like I was always fucking anxious, and I could barely even talk without getting like hella nervous. I couldn't even talk in front of people, like in front of like the class or anything like that. And this went on from high school and college and all that stuff. And I would put on a good front, but inside, dude, I was dying. And I went to the academy, and I was surrounded by military and paramedics and firefighters and older people and people who have done a lot of shit, people who've had businesses. And then I was like, I got to stay here. Like I got to suffer. Like I didn't think about it in that way, but I just knew like I got to stay here, because where I'm at right now is going to take me absolutely nowhere. I'm going to be a fucking loser for the rest of my life if I don't make some changes. And then from there, I get into I actually get a job, and training is tough, dude. Like I wasn't one of those cops who came in and I was a superstar. Like hell no. Like I was worried that we were even going to get past phase 1. But again, I was like, what am I going to do if I don't get this? Like I remember my FTO asked me, well, what's your plan if this doesn't work out? I said, I don't got a plan if this doesn't work out. I was like, this is going to work out. And he's like, I don't know. You should maybe start looking at something else. And I was like, he's probably fucking with me. But I told him, I was like, this is going to work out. Because I knew the pain of going back to who I was much worse than me just studying a little bit more, just paying more attention, just really being focused, asking for help, and doing all of these things to help me get through training. Which then when I quit my job and I started my own business, it was the pain of where I currently was. I was like, I pretty much live here. Like I live to work, and that's not the life that I want. I think it's super noble, the career. I think it's absolutely needed, and the people that want to do it and are born to do it, that's great. But for me, I needed to do something else, and that's just for me. So then I quit. Then I got hella comfortable, blew up to 240 pounds, and I was like, this is it? You make a little bit of money, you turn into this fucking fat ass, and this is how you're going to live your life? And I just dug deep into that pain, and then lost a shit ton of weight. Dig into your pain, guys. Dig into the pain of the current reality that you don't like. It doesn't mean hyper focus on just the negativity, but it does mean, guys, we got one life. Like, you gotta just be able to see what you don't like, what you're willing to tolerate, and what you're not willing to tolerate. And in those places that you're not willing to tolerate, you have to make some changes. And usually the solution that you're after is, I need more time freedom, I need more financial freedom, or I just need to get my shit together. It doesn't mean you have to start a business, but sometimes you just gotta make changes. Because if you don't make changes, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, I wasted so much time, and then you're gonna be full of regret. It honestly doesn't take that long to change your life. Like people think it's gonna take a decade to change your life. It doesn't take that long. Usually once you make that commitment, you're all in. Change happens very, very quickly. What ends up taking longer is the commitment piece. It's I have 1 foot in on change and 1 foot in the past of who I currently am or who I was, and the comfort of where I was. That is what takes long, because you have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. As soon as you go all in on what you want to do and you make that full commitment that no matter what is going on, I will figure it out, change happens very quickly.